Superman Legacy. James Gunn. He is writing, he is directing, and it's opening the chapter 1 for DCU.
It is, yeah.
Gods and Monsters.
2025.
Yes. I believe it starts filming just before the end of the year. But yeah, there's been a bunch of casting rumors that have started like swirling around over the past few days. So, I thought it'd be interesting to cover this one. Lois Lane, 4 actresses have been auditioned, I believe. And so those are Emma McKee, Phoebe Duvernay, Samara Weaving, and Rachel Brosnahan. I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing that one wrong. I know, but I don't know the correct pronunciation. What are your thoughts on any of these actresses playing Lois Lane? And what do you want from whoever will be cast as Lois Lane?
I really like all these castings. Samara Weaving is probably the outlier for me in this one. Like I do love her work and whatnot, but she doesn't really scream, Lois Lane to me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have my phone in front of me. It's either my top two options are either Emma McKay or the second one that you said,
Phoebe Duvernay.
Yep. Yeah, they'll be the top two. I think Emma McKay would be my first. I think she'll be because she's an upcoming actress. She's in Sex Education and the upcoming Barbie film. I think this will be like a role to like really cement herself as like a it sort of actor.
Yeah.
Similar to like what Margot Robbie did for herself, which is funny because they both look similar. In regards to what I want from Lois Lane, I just want Lois from the comics. This goat. This does.
Did you say goat?
No, I stopped mid word because I was going on another thing. I want the Lois from the comic books and the TV series Superman and Lois because I feel that show does Superman and Lois Lane like fantastic, and it's in my opinion, it's a very underrated show. But in the comics and that show, it shows Lois as like a go-getter, like she's a reporter, she'll do anything for the story or to get the story out there to the people.
Yeah.
And that's what's made her win so many Pulitzer prizes.
Yeah.
That's sort of something that I want. And that's not quite, so dependent on Superman and like that whole romantic side of stuff, something that where she can hold her own and like we can see her successes outside of dating Superman and instead of just being this damsel in distress type of character. And like throughout the show and the comics, like she constantly like challenges Superman like intellectually and Clark Kent. And I'm sort of hoping that this is something that James Gunn can bring into this world is like they can still have that romance side to it, but like still show like Lois is like a actual badass. You know?
I'm pretty much in agreement with you there. Especially the Samara Weaving point. I heard this and I'm like, it's not a role that really fits her. I like her as more the Fantastic Four, Invisible Woman side of things better, but yeah, this one doesn't feel like Samara Weaving. Emma McKay is probably the one where I'm like, yeah, that one's probably the better option here. I don't know much about Lois Lane besides from what I've seen in a Man of Steel or anything in the DCU and the other Superman movie, 2005 or something like that.
Superman Returns.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
2006. Yeah.
That's close enough. Give me credit where it's due. But yeah, no. So I think she'd be quite good. It would be a role that she could really grow into, and mature. And I feel so. I'd like to see that kind of angle. And at the end of that, I trust whoever James Gunn is going to put into this. So I absolutely
agree as well.
Yeah. So it's not like if Samara Weaving gets cast, I'm not going to be like, oh, this is stupid. It shouldn't be here. But like, because I know James Gunn will see something that we haven't seen.
It's going to make this point now that whoever gets casted, we saw with Heath Ledger, there was like an uproar. We saw with Robin Pattinson as Batman, there was an uproar.
Yeah.
James Gunn is like, he knows what he's doing. So if he casts someone you don't agree with it, he's going to prove you wrong. Yeah. And there's like 2 cases where that's been proven.
Exactly, yeah. Sometimes you got to wait and see for the final product.
Exactly.
But yeah, no. So from what I'd want from Lois Lane and, I guess this first chapter is really kind of mostly on what you said in terms of, making her own character and pushing a little bit more into the journalist side of things that is her, like most of her character there. But what I would love to see in kind of the DCU and, especially with Superman and Lois Lane is just the romance. I felt like the romance and whatever DCU tried to do was really bad. Like,
the chemistry didn't quite click between Amy Adams and Henry Cavill as well.
Yeah.
Like individually separate them. Like she was a fantastic Lois and he was a fantastic Clark and Superman, but like together it was just
he was way too stoic, and I'd love to have seen kind of Henry Cavill be, well, as Superman, be a little bit more vulnerable with her. I thought that would have been quite a powerful element of their thing. But I do want to see more romance and just really intimate relationships, romantic relationships in a superhero comic book world. I feel like it's something that the MCU has really missed the mark on. So I'd love to see it in here because it's quite a powerful emotion to play with. And
I think besides Spider-Man and MJ will be, or probably no, like them two, Spider-Man, MJ, and Superman Lois is like the top 10 in terms of comic book sort of
romances.
Yeah,
like Stacy and Spider-Man.
Like those are the two big ones.
What is it? Who's Batman with?
Take your pick.
Oh, the Catwoman mostly.
Catwoman. There's Talia.
He's kind of a womanizer kind of character. Yeah,
he doesn't have a set one. But like whenever I think of comic book romances, those are the two I think of.
Obviously Spider-Man and MJ would be the king out of all of them. But yeah, no, you are right. I just hope that's something that DCU brings along.
Yeah.
Well, the DCU will bring along though is Superman, and so there are other names beyond the two that I'm going to mention here. But I mean, I think two of them were just in the early mix. The third one, Jacob Elordi, is that it? He was one of our fan cast picks for Superman, I believe.
Was he?
Yeah, he's the really tall guy from Euphoria, The Kissing Booth. If you've seen those movies,
seen neither of those.
Yeah, but no, he's a really, really tall dude, and his performance in Euphoria has been highly praised. Apparently, he just didn't submit any audition, so I think they're just running forward with other people now in contention. So one of them is Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, initially he was rumored to be in the running for Lex Luthor, but it's actually for Superman. And then the other one is David Corenswet. And I've seen nothing. I don't even know who this was until it was mentioned. And so now it's coming up on the Twitter feed, just seeing a bunch of images. And he looks like a Superman. So what are your thoughts on these two frontrunners for Superman here?
I'm in the same boat as, what's his name? David
Corenswet?
Yeah, I'm just going to call him David.
Yeah.
Haven't seen anything from him. I only found out about him today when it came off my newsfeed.
Yeah.
And I did exactly what he did. Look at him and was like, this is Superman.
Yeah.
I'll start with Nicholas Hoult first. I don't think he's a Superman. He doesn't have that Superman look, to him.
Interesting. Yeah.
He's not like a big, like when you think of Superman, he's like jacked.
Yeah.
Nicholas Hoult seems skinny. Like he'll be a perfect Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
100%. But I don't think he could do Superman well or accurate as, I mean, it's James Gunn, so if he does cast him, I'll be behind that and I won't criticize him because I've been proven wrong twice in the past. Yeah. But to me, he just doesn't feel Superman-y, I mean, him, like, sure, acting-wise and, like, storyline-wise, he'll be able to nail it.
Yeah.
But he's not my first choice. David, though, just based on looks, because I haven't seen anything of his.
Yeah,
he looks like a Superman. He looks like very young as well, which is what James Gunn is trying to go with.
Yeah,
but Nicholas Hoult is somewhat older. I don't know if he's round about Cavill's age or whatnot.
Yeah, I think he's in the 30s. I think. Yeah,
but David, our boy,
he's
like round about. He seems like as if he's like mid-20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
I think this will be a perfect role for him. I mean, it will cement him and his career. I feel like I keep repeating myself every week when we talk about fan casts and stuff, but like it's a good way to like bring up and-coming actors and actresses into the spotlight. And I think, sorry, someone's trying to call me. I bet you it's my mum. I'll have a look later. But I was saying, he has a look of Superman, and I think James Gunn will be better off going with a lesser known actor and actresses for all of these roles because he'll just be able to bring them into the spotlight. Yeah.
No, I agree. And I'll pretty much echo what you say, but the point I want to add to the David Corenswet thing is that he would be tied for the tallest Superman, or tallest person to portray Superman at 6'4". So
was Cavill 6'4", was it Christopher Reeve?
Reeves was 6'4". So he's a really tall guy, and obviously can grow physically into the role.
Yeah.
So he can definitely get a lot bigger. But yeah, pretty much you nailed it. What you said about David here, young, can grow into the role, up and coming actor. I think those are really key aspects, especially for a role like Superman. I don't want some familiar face in it. Nicholas Hoult to me is a familiar face. I want someone new, someone that I haven't really seen before. I think it would just create a little bit more excitement and intrigue in terms of what they can bring to the role.
Yeah.
I'd kind of have an idea of what Holt would do with it. And so I think, that is a big point. Obviously, I think the age is a big point, especially if DC is starting from scratch and building the universe from the ground up again. You need to go young. You went old with Ben Affleck's Batman, and that was a bad choice. I always thought it was bad from the beginning.
It was bad considering how early that stage was. Like if...
Yeah, it started in, it was like the second movie.
Yeah, it was like...
Yeah, and then it like skipped over like important storylines, the whole Robin dying. Like you just missed out so much good content there.
Yeah, I mean, Old Man Batman is fantastic. Like The Dark Knight Returns is one of the greatest comic books ever. But you kept talking there, and I didn't have a chance to jump in because it just went so smoothly from you. I was going to bring it back to Nicholas Hoult. What would you think of him as Lex Luthor?
Oh, well, that's an interesting one. I'll think while I talk, but I'll cover him as Superman first because I disagree with what you're saying about that. Because I forgot the exact details of what you said, but Hugh Jackman, he's over 6 foot, and Wolverine.
He's my height.
Yeah, Wolverine is tiny. He's a small dude and very angry and stuff. And when you think of Wolverine now, you think of Hugh Jackman. When you think of the look of Wolverine, you think of like Hugh Jackman. When they cast a new Wolverine in the MCU, you're gonna want someone big and muscular. You're not gonna want like small guy.
But that's because no one else has played Wolverine until before Hugh Jackman. Like we've had about 4 or 5, probably more Supermans.
That's true. But okay, further to my point though, I think he does look like a Superman. Obviously the blue eyes and dark hair and whatnot. The age thing is the part that really is like, he's established actor and he's aging, I guess, in a sense. So I obviously want them to go young with this one. But I think Nicholas Hoult he's a perfectly capable actor. I think I read something that he was in line for the Batman with Robert Pattinson.
I saw that. as well.
Yeah, that's what I read. So DC I think they want him somewhere. So I'll go to your point about Lex Luthor. I don't like that one at all. Bryan Cranston's always been my pick for Lex Luthor.
I think Cranston's now gone to the old. He's become too old.
Yeah.
If this is like an old man Superman, like he's been established, has family, kids, Superman and Lois TV series.
Yeah.
Then I'll gun for Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
Because like Lex Luthor is always like slightly older than Clark Kent and Superman.
Yeah.
So we can't really have them at the same age or younger. He needs to be like
Jesse Eisenberg. I thought it'd be good.
All right, guys, I'm out.
Eisenberg.
I'm definitely out now. See you guys.
I know. So I wouldn't like Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, and I'm glad that didn't come to fruition yet. I feel like for this to work, you want an up and coming actor as Superman, and you want an established, acclaimed actor as Lex Luthor.
I agree,
and that dynamic would be really powerful on screen because just the way the audience would internalize that kind of scene would be just very interesting. And you'd sense a bit of power from Lex Luthor in the sense of having like a really well-known actor in there. But I don't know who I'd pick.
It's a hard one.
Yeah, but I don't think I'd want someone at Bryan Cranston's age now. I'd want someone around like the 40 to 50 mark.
Yeah.
And not Jesse Eisenberg. I thought he could have done the role justice, but that's a very unpopular opinion. We won't be able to see that. All right. We'll move on from Superman now because Name's not giving me a good look there. He's still boiling up about that one. But don't worry, James Gunn's DCU, I think, it's in good hands for me.
You have to give it time.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what I read today, actually? that for Marvel's the MCU's Phase 5, that for a lot of the scripts, Kevin Feige would send it to James Gunn, and James Gunn would send back notes.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about that. I'm like, that explains a lot, because Phase 3 it was just banger after banger after banger, and with his contribution there, I think that would have played a bit of a role in refining every single movie.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
and you obviously can't do that now. Well, he can, but it won't be publicized.
Yeah, but I mean, now without James Gunn kind of helping Kim Feige in any way other than Guardians 3, I don't know. I mean, DC could get to the top of the hierarchy when it comes to this kind of stuff. James Gunn could be the magician behind the scenes for the MCU.
I think so. I think I can talk about the new DC structure for like ages, and I might add it into next week's stuff. Considering stuff is starting to ramp up, but I think people are just so stuck. And I don't hate the Snyder movies. Before I say what I'm going to,
You're allowed to. This is a safe place. You can say you hate the Snyder movies. There's no Snyder fans outside. Do you want it? I can double check.
As soon as I say my comment, we're going to hear bang in the garage and be like, "What the fuck you say, cunt?
Restore the Snyderverse."
Yeah. Like, it's very hit or miss with that, with the whole Snyder stuff. Like some products are good. Snyder did some great elements with it, but overall it just wasn't that great. And I think people just got too stuck into that vision of his.
Yeah.
To give any other vision a chance. Joss Whedon, poor example, because I'm referencing to Justice League because that was shambles.
Yeah.
But Joss Whedon suffered from that. His own fault because it was a shit film. But James Gunn, he's proven everyone wrong. Like, he has 3 Guardians films and a Suicide Squad film to prove everyone wrong that he can make good films.
Yeah.
And I just see everyone on Twitter and just articles shit on James Gunn. I'm just like, no, this isn't the best hands possible for DC. That first slate might not make sense, but it's going to set up for the second phase, which is going to make so much more sense.
Yeah, there's always going to be that group that are dedicated to Snyder and will always hate James Gunn for taking over the mantle. But us sane people, you guys are also sane. For anyone who's a Snyder fan, I'm not saying you're insane or anything. For us people that have respect for creators, we have a reason to be excited with James Gunn, and we can understand both sides of the fandom. So, yeah. I'm just looking forward to Swamp Thing for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm looking forward to that.
Bro, this is going to be underrated as fuck, eh? I think he's going to bring in the whole horror vibe to that.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to be fantastic.
Yeah. It's going to be good. I'm only really looking forward to 3 of them. But I'm just fully on board with whatever James Gunn's doing especially after Volume 3. Just cemented himself as a great filmmaker with that one.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, now we're gonna discuss the upcoming movies for the next 3 months. And I did this in part because it was a slow news week, and I was like, I don't know what to put down in terms of what we should be covering for this week.
FYI, guys, James usually has 10 or 11 subjects that we talk about. Today I open up the thing, it's 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I see a fan cast oh yeah, this lad's struggling.
Well, usually there's a lot to talk about, but this week, I mean,
it has been very slow.
It has been slow, yeah. So it's just one of those weeks, and the last few weeks have just been real. There's just been a lot of information, a lot